Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Cynthia Erivo have been cast in the new Disney's Pinocchio. Levitt is going to be playing Jiminy, or doing the voice of Jiminy Cricket, and Cynthia Erivo is going to play the Blue Fairy. This new Pinocchio film, Tom Hanks is going to be playing Geppetto. Benjamin Ainsworth, that name probably doesn't ring a bell to most people. He's a new actor, young actor. He's going to be doing the voice of Pinocchio. I don't know if he's going to be playing Pinocchio maybe at the beginning, or maybe by the end, that's when he becomes the real boy. He was just in The Haunting of Bly Manor last fall. He was very good in that for a child actor. So I'm glad he's getting a major role in a property following that. This is going to be directed by Robert Zemeckis. People should know him from Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway, The Polar Express. So obviously he's worked with Tom Hanks a few times before. Zach, any thoughts on the casting and another Pinocchio movie?
Yeah, I think a quote unquote live action Pinocchio movie. It's more quote unquote than I think a lot of other things will eventually be, mainly because of one thing. Pinocchio is not really one of the ones that you go in and say, "Oh yeah, live action Pinocchio." It's like, no, Pinocchio's still going to be 3D animated in some way. Like, I'm sorry, he's a wooden boy.
Well, like I said, the actor is doing the voice, so that means most of the movie is going to be a CGI puppet.
Right. So you're going to have I'm not knocking this. I mean, it's basically the best that they could hope that this would look like is like the Alita Battle Angel. That movie was great in the way that it used CGI and everything else to kind of make it like real, but also CGI.
Yes,
I think that something like that would be an excellent way to showcase this film.
And even Christopher Waltz was kind of like the Geppetto.
Right.
You know, he was the human character, live action human character, playing with this robotic, thing. And, I mean, yeah, they had an actress play the role, but they also went in and did a lot of CGI for most of it.
Right.
Motion capture work.
Correct.
Which I'm sure that's what they're going to be doing with this, because, I mean, like I said, Zemeckis, that's all he's been doing recently with Polar Express, Beowulf. He remade A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. That was all the computer motion capture stuff.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure he's going to be bringing half of that live action half. But what do you think? Do we need another Pinocchio movie?
No, but Disney's remaking all their movies anyway, so it was just going to be bound to happen. Yeah. I really think, for me, I still remember the animated stuff. So I feel as if, that's what I grew up with, but, Pinocchio is not one of the movies that I've ever rewatched. I remember watching it, maybe once or twice as a kid, but I've never, gone, oh, let's go watch Pinocchio.
I remember the 90s version live action with Jonathan Taylor Thomas doing the voice and then becoming the real boy at the end. I remember that version. And then they had another Roberto Benigni version. He's done it twice now, playing Geppetto. I mean, this is going to go along with their Disney's remakes that they've been doing.
Yeah, this is for a new generation. So if they want, instead of doing an animation, then they want this to be, okay, we want to show these in a new light, fine. It's geared towards the new generation with the nostalgia from us. It's not really there for, us to go oh, yay, Pinocchio.
I mean, it's not like this for the new generation, but it's also for our generation of, okay, let's see what they can do differently. Like I said, we've had the Lion King remake, we had the Aladdin. The Lion King was almost a shot-by-shot remake with CGI instead of 2D.
And there was so much more that they could have done with that. If they had taken the Lion King, the I guess how I want to. The reason why I keep on referencing Alita is that movie was so well done, and they used the CGI to what the CG to its best thing, and they focused on like when you look at the face of the main character, they made her eyes bigger. They kind of made her a little bit more of that anime stylish, but they really had like the expressions were amazing, and you really got to connect emotionally with the characters, and that's something that you did not see with The Lion King. No. I watched that movie, and I was going like, when Mufasa died again, I was going like, I don't care.
No, I mean...
Because there was no emotional connection. Great, you made them look like animals, but you didn't... The animation, like, you saw their emotions, and in this, I didn't see a single emotion.
No, you didn't get any emotion out of them. It was just kind of bland. And that's going to be the interesting thing with this movie. Are they going to go more straight, remake, like shot by shot, like the animated film, or you do more like a Jungle Book meets, even like a Cinderella, or you're gonna go even a different route like a Maleficent, which I don't know how you would do with this, or you thought you were gonna get Sleeping Beauty, but you got something a little bit more different than that. It'll be interesting how dark they go. Obviously with Pinocchio, you do have some dark moments in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
With the boys turning into donkeys. I'll be very fascinated to see how they go with that. Or if they just take that out altogether.
I think, I truly think that this, it doesn't need to be a shot-for-shot remake of it, but it can be like a mostly, like, you don't need to adjust the script. Adjust like the visuals and that stuff, and maybe change up the script to make it a little bit more modern-ish. But even the setting for it is not that modern. Dude's making a wooden puppet, so it's not like this is realistically, going back to it once again, Alita has the same general plot points of Pinocchio. That would be a quote-unquote modern, for it, futuristic Pinocchio story. So, I would say almost kind of glam it up a bit, do kind of what you want with it, but just, don't fix what wasn't broke, I guess.
Before we wrap this up, what do you think about the casting, though, so far?
I think it's fine. Tom Hanks, fine. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, fine. I guess the one thing where it's just going, like, other than, like, James Earl Jones, there's not really, like, that time of, like, I didn't care who voiced Thumper from Bambi. I didn't care,
other than James Earl Jones or Robin Williams for the genie.
Right.
You didn't care about... You wouldn't even be able to recognize the voice.
Yeah, other than the guy who played Iago, who...
Or Jeremy Irons as Scar.
Right.
That's about it.
Right. Like, that's about it. And, it's great. They got a job. Yeah. I'm happy for them. But it's not like, there's two differences in what this is. Here's a gripe that you could put forward. There are a lot of people who get put into animated movies that are just really bad at it. Actors that get put into animated movies or video games that just are horrible at it. Patrick Stewart was in Oblivion, which is a video game. He is an amazing actor. I fell asleep when he was talking, because there was no, like, he couldn't get the emotion across with just his voice. And that's a problem. Like, the guy who plays Olaf,
Josh Gad.
Yeah, Josh Gad. He's amazing. Like, he's using his voice to full effect. But and then, another example, Luke Perry from Friends. He played in a video game called Fallout New Vegas. He was horrible because he couldn't get his voice didn't carry the entirety of it is. Because I don't care in the booth, whatever facial expressions or animations that they're doing, if the animators don't animate that, then it doesn't matter. Your voice has to do all the work. So, if they can do it, great. If they can't be like a Robin Williams to do that, to really get their voice to show all the enthusiasm and the emotion and everything else, then it's not going to be as good. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, we'll see how this is. It can either be the next Jungle Book, or it can be like a Beauty and the Beast, where it looked good, like pretty-wise, cinematography-wise, but, it was way too long, and, some of the things didn't work from 2D to, live action. Like we just saw with Mulan this last year. I thought the Mulan movie improved on things, but also, I wish it had more of the animated film, like with the dragon, and they didn't have that. They went more with a serious feel.
And they didn't have any of the songs in there, did they?
They had them like orchestral, not like singing.
I'm sorry, but like if you if you do certain things and you don't use the songs, that's just like that's half the reason why those were possible. Imagine The Lion King without the opening song. Just imagine it.
Well, that was the other problem with The Lion King. The songs in there, they had them in there, but they didn't work.
Yeah, they
really didn't
them.
work. Like when Scar did his thing, I'm like, no, this is not working. Not even close to the original. Like then, other than the opening, other than that, like none of the other songs, I was like, okay, you did better than the original. You were on the same level. None of them. And then they added songs that were like, yeah, you didn't need that at all. So, we'll see. And that's how it was with Beauty and the Beast. Had songs that worked and songs that didn't work. Mulan didn't have any songs. Aladdin worked. But really, with Pinocchio, you don't have too many songs.
No, it really is a story and animation. Yeah. That's why I think that if they use the CGI to the max.
The funny part is, you got the one song in Pinocchio, I Have No Strings on Me, and they use that in Age of Ultron.
Right.
For Ultron.
Uh-huh.
That was the whole marketing, the whole promo marketing in the trailer.
Now imagine if they didn't use that song in Pinocchio. Just imagine that. I think it would almost be criminal if they didn't.
Oh yeah.
It's like imagining The Lion King without that opening song. It's just going like imagining Pinocchio without that song. It's
if Disney really wanted to have like a Easter egg, if you have that song, like if they're like in the house and Geppetto's working on Pinocchio and he's singing that song, and like in a little bin in the like side of the room, have like all these like toys and gadgets, have like a little Ultron doll just sitting in like a little crate.
Yeah,
that would actually be kind of like, I know what you're doing.
I see what you did there.
That would be kind of funny. I would get a kick out of that.
Yeah. But, like, I think the biggest thing that would be really cool is to have and to really max out the CG when they go to do, like, the animated part, right, I guess, CG part of the boys turning into donkeys. That right there is going to be the kind of a defining scene of this movie, and where they need to legitimately, like, they need to blow all their money on basically the animations for Pinocchio and those animations and that CG part, because that's where they need to, like, that's what's going to get it. There's not going to be, Pinocchio isn't the A tier of Disney stuff.
No, just like Dumbo. Dumbo wasn't. Right. And that's the problem with the Dumbo movie was, like, the first quarter of that film was the animated Dumbo movie. The second and third half of that movie was a different story. So I don't know if they're going to go that route. They could even go that route where, like, the first half is like the animated movie, and then it goes completely different direction. And At least we know that Robert Zemeckis can do water and whales, like we saw in Castaway.
Mhm.
So he'll nail that scene at least. I don't know how he'll mess that one up.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is like, it should be good, but, you know, realistically, they're shooting for a B. Like, that's what this is. Like, that's what the live action movies have all been. I've never given any of them a B. A higher than a B, not even a B plus.
Not even
So
the
it's like,
Jungle Book?
yeah. I mean, B plus, but, you know, sorry. Like,
Yeah, I mean, none of them have been like, other than like Jungle Book and the Cinderella one, directed by Kenneth Branagh, those have been like the top tier, but everything else has been down, somewhere in the middle.
yeah, but it's just like, you know, these movies, for us, were iconic.
Yeah.
These movies that they're doing now are not.
I mean, like, they're working on The Little Mermaid right now. Now, I mean, I'm curious to see how that is after Aquaman dealing with underwater. So we'll see how that one turns out. I'm still curious, or when they decide to do Pocahontas, how they're going to change that one up.
I think they should just not touch that one. In this political climate, they should not touch that.
Well, if they touch it, I'm not going to go to where they'll probably, how they'll refocus that movie, if they do it, will not be, let's just say the white man will not look good in that film. They will spin it in some sort of way to be more, yep, the Indians got screwed. They will.
We're not getting into all of that stuff.
I am curious to how they do a movie like that. Yeah, that was one of the top ones back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to touch Tarzan. Even though they did a Tarzan movie a couple years ago with another studio with Margot Robbie in there. And Alexander Skarsgård.
Yes.
So that was only like 4 years ago. But that's another one. I would like them to do another Tarzan movie. That was more like the Disney animated film.
You want to know what just popped into my head?
What?
The guy from The Mummy. Didn't he do it, the George of the Jungle? I was going like, wait a minute. When you said Tarzan, that's what popped into my head, not actual Tarzan. Mummy guy, what's it?
Brendan Fraser?
Yes. And I was just going like, I remember seeing him, but it's not, when you said Margot Robbie, my brain was not connecting that. My brain was going like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
That was Leslie Mann in that film, who went on to do like Big Daddy and a lot of the Judd Apatow films.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tarzan's another one. I'm like, I'll be curious what they do with that film.
I mean,
because that's something they can do really well with, like we saw in Rise of the Apes or Planet of the Apes. Use the CGI motion capture gorillas with the human character.
Yeah.
That can be really good.
Yeah, I think that, like, I would almost say just go get Andy Serkis again.
They probably will.
Yes. Hey, we need a guy to play an ape. Let's go get the guy who's done it for about 20 movies so far.
Kong, I'm good Caesar. Now you want me to be some random gorilla?
They would probably just have Andy Serkis do all of them. Just like, Andy, you're getting paid overtime.
He would. They would probably do something like that. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, Disney's still rolling out their, animated.
I think this is a bigger symptom of a larger problem.
Like we just saw the Cruella trailer.
Yeah.
That's coming out.
I still think that this is a bigger symptom of a larger problem, and the fact that where's the new stuff?
Well, I think that's I know we've been
where's a
talking
new
about,
Disney thing?
Well, that's the problem here. During the lockdown, that's one thing. I went back and watched a lot of Disney films, and I watched a lot of original films, like your National Treasures, your John Carters.
Yeah, John Carter was bad, but National Treasure was good.
John Carter wasn't that bad. Got a bad rap, but it actually wasn't that bad of a film. Sorcerer's Apprentice. Like you said, you got tons of, like you said, you go back to even the sports. Remember the Titans, the Mighty Ducks. Like, we haven't seen a Disney sports film in I don't know how long.
Well, they had that new one, The Safety.
Yeah, well,
with the Clemson team. I haven't watched that one yet.
But yes, Disney hasn't made an original. They've been doing that more with their animated stuff, like we just had The Raya and the Last Dragon come out this weekend. But I'm talking about in terms of live action, they haven't done anything original. Right? Come up with an original idea that could become a franchise. Like you were doing with Pirates. Like you were doing with National Treasure. Like you were doing with the Mighty Ducks. You know, I'm getting tired of. I mean, I love Marvel, like Star Wars. I don't mind seeing how you bring in a director and see what they can do with an animated to live action film. But come up with some original material.
It doesn't even have to be original. Just go out. There's thousands of great top-selling books. That's just the top sellers. There's millions of book series out there that would be great to just basically say, even if it's not like, oh, we're going to do this exactly. It's enough to basically say, okay, this is a good enough original plot to kind of take in and then make our own thing.
But not only that, like, now that having Disney Plus, the other night I really went down all their movies. I'm like, original. Like, yeah, but these are filmed back in the 90s, early 2000s. I'm like, we haven't seen anything original in forever. And it's like, even now that they got 20th Century Fox, what are they doing? We're remaking Home Alone. We're remaking Cheaper by the Dozen. It's like, why? Make something new. Think something original. Now you're remaking another studio's films. Because now that you got the rights to them. It's like, you know, we're gonna remake Alien. We're gonna remake Predator. It's like, no. Just come up with something new.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm looking for something new and interesting, and so far, no one's given it to me. I mean, they tried.
The only one that was supposed to come out last summer, coming out this summer, I think, is that Jungle Cruise movie with The Rock.
Yeah.
Which is based on a ride, but it's still at least something new. Not something they've already done before.
Yeah, I mean, last year during the lockdown, I think they also put out the Artemis Fowl movie. But that one was terrible, and I refused to watch it because I read the books, and I'm sorry.
Well, that was supposed to come
That's
in theaters.
Terrible. Like my parents watched it, and they called me, and they said, for the love of God, don't watch this movie, because it will only anger you. And it's just like, you know, it's just like...
Well, that's the other
thing. The Artemis Fowl series is something that could have been the next Harry Potter. Like, no. Are the books as good as Harry Potter? No, they're not. But the potential for a movie franchise set in the Artemis Fowl world was enormous. But they screwed it all up. They couldn't. It's like the plot line of the first book is such an interesting one because the protagonist is not the hero. Well, the 10-year-old boy is not the hero. He is the villain. And it is the most interesting read. I read it when I was a teenager. It was amazing because before that time, I'd never read a book where the person, you know, my age was the bad guy. And it was great. It was like, for me, it was like, to me, it was like The Empire Strikes Back. Because it was like, oh my God, the bad guy won in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see Disney, you know, they need to come up with something more original. I think, because like I said, eventually, you know, people are going to be like, we've already seen this before, you know. And also the problem, like with Artemis Fowl, I mean, I didn't watch the movie either, but it worries me because, like, okay, you're not putting the time and effort into these. You're putting way too much time into stuff we've already seen before. Or the franchises. You know, you're planning to make 2 pirate films at the same time. Like, I don't like the Pirates of the Caribbean films, but you're making 2 of them at the same time. And guess what? If you don't have Johnny Depp in there, one of those ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. Even though I thought Johnny Depp in the last film kind of phoned it in a little bit, it's still... These movies are nothing without Jack Sparrow. I don't care. I like Margot Robbie. You're bringing her in. You're bringing in Karen Gillian. But if you don't have someone from the original films in these new ones, people are not going to go see them. So once again, you're putting a lot of money into another franchise, and you're not even planning to bring back anyone from the original. No. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see. Disney, we'll see what they do.
And always remember to like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. The podcast is available wherever you want to get your podcast. If we are not there, let us know, and we will get there. Remember to like our Facebook page, Attack Bat Productions. Thanks for listening, everyone.